From a little cover, I got my dreams in sight. Wrestling on the mat, I go and put up a fight. With every hold and slam, I rise to the peak. Now as Professor Bear, it's my strength that they see. Roaring with knowledge like a lion so proud. In this wrestling world, I'm standing out loud. I'm Professor Bear, got the passion to spare. Wrestling's my life, with the power to share. From the roots to ropes, in the spotlight we gleam. Chasing victory dreams, living out the theme. Now my WOSN, my squad.
Yeah. Hey, new beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul.
With my forest crew, we'll always ride. In the wrestling world, one just claim the prize.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me this evening. I am Professor Bear, and this is the Bear's Thoughts. And my thought for this evening is unity. And why unity? It's because I have already been having such a good time getting to talk to different owners from different promotions. And one of the things that keeps coming up is working together. And I really enjoy that. I want to stop the stereotype that everybody just are out for themselves, and it's not true. There are a lot of companies that are willing to work with other companies, and they understand working together can help build both brands, and I truly love that. Today, I have a special guest that is a little different. He started out with his promotion, and due to that ugly thing in 2020, it had to go away. But that did not stop him from being a gatherer of all of a state's wrestling promotion. He promotes them. He is definitely about unity. So let me introduce David. David, how are you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing all right. Just trying to stay awake. It's been a little bit past my bedtime for an old man. So
Believe me, I understand. So before we get started with the questions, I want to point out a few things. One, if you look at the right-hand side, upper right side, that is his wrestling logo. So you know, if when you go look for him, you know you are getting the right promotion. And above me on the left-hand side, you see a QR code. Scan that QR code and it will take you straight to his Facebook page. So please do that and make this interesting. Now, sir, one thing that I always do when I have guests on, the first question I ask is, how did you become a fan of wrestling?
and I love that question. I've asked that many a time myself and all. What really got me into it, as always, you grow up watching it and everything like that, of course, but I never really did pay a whole lot of attention to it until the first Royal Rumble, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. and the reason that is because that was my dad's favorite wrestler.
Ah,
And just when my dad found out that Hacksaw had won it, and seeing the emotion in his face just really like said, like, I don't have a great memory. I don't remember a whole lot from when I was younger, but for some reason, I can see the exact look expression in his face from that time, and it just it resonated with me, until, and, like, really thoroughly got into it, like, a little bit before the Attitude Era when, and then when WCW popped up, when they started doing the Monday Night Wars, that's when I really got heavily invested into it.
that's cool. So, who were your favorite wrestlers back then?
Overall, 100% Undertaker. I mean, anybody that's actually seen me in the ring and all, they can definitely see the influences of Undertaker. Um, as most people, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, all those, Junkyard Dog, love Junkyard Dog. Jake the Snake Roberts, one of my all-time favorites. And then when you get to a more closer to the current era, you like Bray Wyatt, a lot of the darker characters, really, uh,
Right.
you got to put Jake in there as well, because that dude just, man, that dude would genuinely send chills down my spine with just, the calm talk. Didn't have to raise his voice. I mean, I just absolutely love.
Jake was one of my favorites for his thought process. He could make anyone fall into whatever mood he wanted. And I love that. And I love the psychology. I like you, I grew up with the 80s wrestling, and back then most wrestlers had psychology, and you had to know how to use it, where to use it. Even a great baby face had psychology.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Like the Rock and Roll Express, one of my top 5 tag teams of all time. You knew what was going to happen. Ricky Morton was going to get beat down, just tore down. He was going to reach out and give Robert that hot tag.
Oh yeah.
The whole place exploded. Did not matter if they won or lost. It was just that hot tag to bring that emotion out the crowd.
It was the genuine connection. That was the thing. If you can make that kind of a connection with the crowd, no matter what you go out there and fart in the middle of the ring and they love you.
I mean, it is no lie. Just like, and then like you talking about the Undertaker, when you heard the Road Warriors music, everybody just stopped, got nervous, and started looking around just to make sure they wasn't coming near them.
Oh, most definitely, man. And they don't call it a Road Warrior pop for nothing.
Yes.
Those guys, like they were, because they made that connection, they were legitimate. They made you well aware that they were extremely legitimate in what they do. That's my little brother right there.
Oh, okay. What's going on, little bro?
He's my little brother. It's older than me.
So, how did you make the transition from just a wrestling fan to getting into wrestling?
Okay, so it's going to be similar to a lot of people's stories. I always wanted to get into it. I grew up down in Louisiana. I really didn't know where to get involved, and then when I moved to Arkansas, I still didn't have any knowledge of an actual indie scene. Like a lot of people, I did the backyard stuff. I mean, it happens. But I got lucky because one of my buddies that did it with us, he actually worked with a guy that actually wrestled. Brought him out to the house, and we messed around a little bit, and he asked me if I wanted to, actually train and get into it. And man, it blew up from there, man. I was 33 when I started training. I was 34 when I had my first match, and still going strong ish. Except for maybe my knees. My knees ain't as good as they used to be, but But yeah, it was just a lot of by chance stuff, just it's hard to explain, how it really unfolded, but it was just like the cards were laid out in front of me, and I just happened to pick them up.
And sometimes that's the best way of things to happen. So, start doing the wrestling and everything. What got you to, hey, I'm gonna own my own promotion? How did that come about?
Okay, so that's a little different demon than most people. So, a little bit when I first started, Arkansas was still under the athletic commission. So you had to have license, blood work, all that good stuff. What's up, Josh? Uh, but you had to have all that stuff. And a buddy of mine was running a small bar show in the Hot Springs area, and he did not he didn't want to get the promoter's license himself. I don't remember the specification why he didn't. So I just decided one day I was like, I'll get it, because I've seen several shows like say if the promoter had to leave or something, and there's nobody there with a promoter's license, the show had to shut down. So I was like, hey, I'll grab it just in case something happens, or at least there's somebody here that's got one. And so we kind of, he ran those shows for a little while, and then we had a fella that wanted to do a big school or a big benefit for his church youth group. So I was like, "Hey, you've got a ring, I've got the license. Find a building, and we'll put some stuff together." And March of 2019, uh, that's when I officially ran my first show.
Oh, wow.
And again, it wasn't the fact that I mean, of course, that's something I always wanted to do, but I never felt like I would have the knowledge or the ability to do it. But
Right.
it kinda fell into my lap because with the Unity type thing we you were talking about and everything, it was just me trying to extend a helping hand to somebody, and it grew from there.
That's amazing. So, tell me when you unfortunately lost the promotion.
When so COVID hit and everybody had to shut down. When things started opening back up, uh, Josh, be quiet, I'm talking. I know that kid stuff. But no, we were able to run a couple of shows after COVID, but just financially, I'm the type of guy if I can't pay the guys out of my pocket, not having to worry about the door, then it's not something I need to be doing. Uh, so originally we were running in a small town in Ola before COVID, and then school board, of course, they don't understand how wrestling is, so we pretty much got kicked out of the building because, like I said, they didn't get it, and it is what it is. So we started running a bar show in Cabot at Hard Riders, which was a nice little old bar. They did good by us. But like I said, after COVID, we ran one or two more shows, and it was just financially because people still weren't getting out and doing a whole lot and everything, So you're not making you're going into the hole massively every time.
Right.
So I kind of felt like that was probably the best bet was to, hey, it's time to step back. Instead of running the machine, I'm just going to go back to being a cog in the machine. So it just it kind of died off. That was 2021. Uh, it wasn't the fact that I lost it. It was just the fact that I decided it was time to go into a different direction.
And honestly, that's a good thing when you know, okay, this is I need to stop beating the dead horse, and my talents can be used better elsewhere. So with that, what what did you decide to do after stepping away from being a promoter?
Well, and I just continue to wrestle, hitting up different shows, trying to help out. Oh, excuse me, where I can, helping out with training, helping out with, just anything in general that's needed. I'm the type of guy. It's not about me. It's about what's best for the show. So it's just if I'm there to make this kid that had 2 matches look good, hey, that's what I'm here for. If I'm there to work a 10-second match and get beat by one move, hey, that's it. I mean, I'm here to do a job. Um, so yeah, I just continued working, traveling around the state, traveling around Tennessee, and doing. What I can.
So with doing that, I'm curious of what gave you the idea for trying to help unify the state with
Uh,
wrestling and promotion.
Watching the AIWF, what they do, and I mean they're doing it on a much larger scale. My primary thing, Arkansas for wrestling has had in general has had kind of a bad reputation. Bunch of what's the term, mud shows or whatever.
Right.
Even though I really didn't feel like that was an actual thing, but it's like you're down the south, you're not Memphis, so you're just pretending type thing. But my thing was that I've talked to quite a few different promoters and everything like that. My thing was is I want people to wrestle that want to wrestle in Arkansas. I want people to come here because they know that they're going to have a great experience. They know that they're going to get a good match. They know they're going to be a part of a good show. That's what I want for Arkansas in general. So I got together with a few guys, and we actually have a committee that I put together, so that way it's not just me trying to make some kind of decision or anything like that. That we vote on, this company wants to come in, okay, is everybody good with it? Yeah, this we need to start, using this title. What do we want to do with it? Vote on it, type of thing. So we actually, probably mid last year, uh, we officially relaunched as more of a cross promotional entity. It's about helping promote other shows, be it even if it's just, sharing their flyers on social media. At least working together, and trying to help get these other shows to work with them hand in hand, instead of working against each other. Right now, there's 5 different companies involved with us. One that runs about once a year. They just do odds and ends stuff. I think one that recently had to shut down just due to complications. But we have three different companies that run strong with us. That's uh, Natural State Wrestling. They are based around the Searcy area typically. Wild Card Wrestling, based out of Diaz, Rector area, and then Tornado Pro Wrestling, which are based out of the Van Buren area. And so we work with them. We try to cross promote, and get them to cross promote with each other. We, just basically just trying to help each other out as much as we can.
Well, and what I
Feel like
like I think I told you before we came on, I just think that is such a great thing that unfortunately wrestling has that stereotype that no promotions want to work together. You're not stealing my fans or taking money out of my pocket, and not realizing working together can help you both grow.
Oh,
It's just you have to take that attitude out of it to
most
be successful.
egos will kill egos will take away from it every time. It'll destroy a promotion faster than it'll build it. And that's one thing I don't deal with myself personally. I don't deal with drama. I don't deal with egos. I'm quick to walk away. I'm just like, it's not my thing. I'm too old. I got grandkids. Okay, I don't need to be dealing with a bunch of children. So
Yeah, definitely. It is again, as I say a lot of times, we're all adults. Let's act like we're adults. Have a conversation, and not every time we're going to agree, and that's okay. But you don't have to go flip out, start talking about people, start rumors, and all that BS. Just okay, we have a disagreement. We tried to get together. We know we can't work, or we won't do this certain thing together.
exactly.
Simple.
And that's the way I have my thoughts about it. And like even if there's a couple of companies like that, if there's a couple of companies that have issues with each other and all like that, I always put it that's your issues, not mine. Um, just because you have a problem with this person does not mean that I have to have a problem with them, and vice versa. If I have a problem with somebody, that does not mean that's your problem.
Right.
And that's one thing I try to get other people to understand, like, "Oh, why'd you go work there? Why'd you go work for them? Because they asked me to, and they offered me a good position. What you want me to do about it? I wanna get in the ring, I wanna wrestle."
And, and I guess for me, being on the outside looking in, some of the things that I've heard about and seen, I always think to myself, really, this is what you're going to let stop you. You can't just swallow your pride for 1 minute to look at the bigger picture.
It's a temporary problem. That's all it is.
Yeah, just have a conversation.
You
But again,
can close
that,
a gate, but you can't rebuild that burnt bridge.
that's true. That's so true. And and the way the world is, I think, why make such more problems than that's going on in the world? Let's enjoy something. Because to me, and I think I speak for almost every wrestling fan around, wrestling is a great way for us to forget our problems for an hour, 2, 3,
Oh,
whatever.
it's
It's
amazing to
something that helps calm us down and bring us joy.
or if I'm a really good bad guy, make you hate my guts.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I tell you this quick funny story. I'm at a promotion and I'm sitting ringside, and one of the wrestlers, he was on the outside helping his partner out. Well, it was a couple of seats empty beside me. He came and sat down, but so I didn't think nothing about it. He had started getting on my nerves. That's what he really started doing. And I heard him whisper something, but I couldn't make out what he said. And he gave me a little dirty look. I gave him one back, and I'm thinking, man, I want to punch you in your damn face. So after the show's over, I'm standing around talking to different people. Well, I see him come out, and he makes a beeline straight to me. He's like, Professor, oh my God, I'm so glad you stayed. He said, man, I really wanted to break character. I really did, but I couldn't. So that's why I kind of told you to stay. I said, oh, that's what you said. I said, I couldn't really make it out. He said, how did you enjoy the show? I said, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said, I know how wrestling works, but I really wanted to punch you in the damn face. He's like, man, that's one of the best compliments anybody gave me in a while.
But
Yeah,
that right there, though, that means he did his job.
exactly. And like I told him, I said, man, I can see why you are a heat magnet. I said, legitimately, I kept thinking if you came a little closer and jumped at me, I was swinging for the fence. But that's what makes wrestling just so great when they can make your emotion get involved, where you either are just you're crying because your favorite person just got beat up, or you crying because you're so mad you want to beat somebody up. They draw you in.
Or some of the shows where a guy I worked with quite a bit would have the cops called on him because they thought he was legitimately hurting somebody. You know, that's yeah, good stuff right there. Cops show up again. They're like, "Are you again?" Oh.
Oh man, that see that you know you are doing your job when the cops getting called.
I got one place that I work at. One of their super fans down there. I'm the bad guy down there, and I got that kid so mad. He blocked all my fan pages. Will not speak to me whatsoever. And I'm not going to tell you what I did. I can tell you after we get off here because it's going to ruin a little promo thing I got to do
Right.
tomorrow. But man, that kid hates my gut. Yeah.
It's I find it so fun. Some of the things I love to do when I go to an indie promotion, I will close my eyes for a few minutes and just listen to everything.
Yeah.
And if I'm listening and I can't tell where I'm at, because sounds travels.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting there and I can't tell I'm in a small venue where it feels like I'm in a stadium with 20,000, then I know the wrestling is over. I know it because I can't tell where I'm at. And it's the first time I ever had that, it blew my mind. I'm like, man, there can't be 50 people in this joint, but it sounds like they're about to rip a wall out.
Dude, those are some of the best crowds, dude. Like, because there's the old saying in wrestling, 5 or 500, you go out there and do what you do, and sometimes those crowds of 5 or 10 people, yeah, there might not be a whole lot there, but man, they can be the most into it, and you can also be more interactive with them.
Oh,
But they get that more of that experience than what others might not because you can focus in on those specific ones. So that's why I always, even if there's not a whole lot of people there, man, I'm doing the same thing either way. You know, uh, that's the way I always try to be at least.
and like you said, the interaction is such an amazing thing. Um, Took my wife to her first indie show, and she was loving it. Well, during the a match, they spilled out over the barricade. When we were at the barricade, they spilled out, and then one of the wrestlers, he threw the wrestler over. He went to go do a springboard, and he stepped on my foot. And he didn't. Thankfully, he didn't fall or anything. He was able to do the springboard, and I'm like, man, I looked at my wife. I said, he come back around here, I'm gonna have to get him. I'm gonna have to get him. So after the match, they happened to go to a intermission, and like most wrestlers, they come out, try to sell their merch and everything. And he happened to walk by, and I was like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" I said, you stepped on my foot, right?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." I was like, "No, ain't no sorries. You stepped on my foot. So you want to get in the ring, or you want me to toss you in the ring?" and I grabbed him so fast, like I knew he's thinking to himself, "What the hell should I do?" And I just like, "Man, I'm just joking with you. Please don't hit me. I'm an old man."
You're not a small man, so I mean that can be intimidating,
Right. And that's why I did it, just to get his reaction. But I was smart enough to make sure that I wrapped his arm. So if he couldn't hit me, he had to fight out of it before he hit me. and
We
let them
gotta
know.
watch it too. You know, we get older, we get that old man strength. You know, we don't understand where it comes from. We just know we're all of a sudden strong.
Exactly. But when I see him to this day, he just cracks up at me, and he's such a good wrestler, building his way up on the scene. But as I love to tell people, yes, WWE, AEW, the bigger companies, they have tremendous work. No doubt about it. I said, but they cannot give you what an independent show can give you. That you're in the show, you're a part of it more than if you're at the bigger ones. The wrestlers pay attention and see you, and if they think they can get, if they want to draw heat and see how much you piss, okay, cool, I'm just about to go play with them, make them matter. Or if you catch that fan that you know is just in love with you, you make sure when you start getting beat down, you right in front of them. Yes, yes,
Yeah, that's that Ricky Morton right there.
yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, the indie shows. You know, you like WWE, the mainstream wrestling, and all. It's enjoyable. It's a TV product. It's
Right.
extremely enjoyable. But you know that the indie shows and all, man. There's that again that connection that you don't get elsewhere because it's not only that you typically you're live and in person, but you're up close. You know, I mean, like if you're front row at an indie show, you're literally 5 feet away from them. You know, and even if you're in the back rows, typically this is like it's gonna be like an old gym or an old VFW or something like that. Even the back rows, you still feel like you're right there, you know?
Yes. And I always tell people when I go to indie shows, I feel like I'm going to a family reunion because 9 times out of 10, you have the same people going. The wrestlers know you. So if you don't show up 2 or 3 shows, then you come back. The first, hey, you okay? You having any problems? Your family okay? Man, you ain't been here the last couple of times. We're all concerned. And again, that it's a family atmosphere that it just can't be beat in my eyes.
Well, and it's not even just that; it's in the locker room as well. You know, there's people that I work shows with that I'm closer to than some of my actual family, and that's nothing against my family. It's just the simple fact that I've made that connection with them. You know, my tag
Right.
partner, Warwolf Bruce McGowan. Uh, a few years back before we started running together, we were acquaintances stuff like that. But now, we're actually tagging together, we're traveling together and stuff like that. And I mean, he's when they say they call you brother, he's legitimately become one of my brothers. I'm probably closer to him than I am to almost anybody in this world. So you make your own family by doing this.
Yeah. Just like you mentioned Ricky Morton, I got a chance to talk to Ricky on several different occasions. He wanted to do my podcast. I didn't ask. He wanted to do it.
Awesome.
So, I'm going to say no, but, and we built that bond. The last time I seen him, as soon as I walked in and he looked up and saw me, Burr, come here. And it was like, hey, Ricky, how are you? And he's like, man, I'm doing good. And it was another wrestler that he was happened to be teaming up with. And he said, hey, give him your number. Give him your number. You want to get out into the podcaster world? This is a man that you need to talk to. He's going to help you. Give him his number. And for me, it was so unreal that Ricky Morton, a legend in this business, a Hall of Famer over and over again, is talking about me. It's just crazy because the little me inside of me still is like, Ricky freaking Morton knows your name.
Oh, I get it. We got invited to that School of Morton tag tournament they had.
Uh-huh.
We were a part of that. And yeah, I walked in. That was the first one. That's the first, person I saw. I was like, oh, hey, first. It's Ricky Morton right there. It's Ricky Morton right there. And it was just an awesome experience getting to talk to him. We did the seminar with him and everything like that. I mean, just dude just understands it. He just gets it. And at his age, to be doing as much as he's done and to still be going as strong as he is, man, it's uncanny. I mean, to me, he definitely he's one of the goats.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially when it comes to tag team wrestling, and that's somebody I've studied a lot. It's just it's so amazing to see.
And to be able to stand there and listen to the wisdom that he gives people, it just blows my mind that I can like, wow, I can legitimately say Ricky Morton is my friend. It's like,
Correct. That's all.
wow. So when I take it that you love to just be able to put people over to work with the younger guys.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Is it is it to help them grow, or what is your purpose for working with younger guys?
Okay, so like I said, I started a little bit older than most people. I was 33 when I started training. I'm 45 now. So I haven't been into the wrestling business as long as a lot of people. But again, starting at a later age, you have a different mindset when you come in.
Right.
So, and I knew immediately I'm not going to WWE. I'm not going to any of these bigger companies. I know I'm not going to get to that point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have fun doing what I do, and I want to help other people grow and help the next generation coming up. Um, that's the basics of it. It could because one thing I always felt is when it comes to wrestling, winning or losing it, that is not a big deal. You can look good no matter what you're doing. And sometimes making other people look good and look like a credible threat can make you look better. And it sounds kind of selfish on that part. Like, I'm gonna let this kid beat my ass just so I can look better. No, 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 it's not like that. It's just showing that you're willing to do what's needed for the best of the match, for the best of the show, for the best of the company. And that's my thing is I don't need, especially with my character, I don't need belts. I don't need to win a lot of matches. I don't need any of that stuff because I know for what I do, for making that guy look good or for my character work, that they're gonna remember who I am. You know.
I think the one another thing I like to say is people really don't get the fact that wrestling is a team sport more than people realize. And I'm like, well, you can have two wrestlers, but they are not going to do anything if you don't have a referee. You can have the referee and the wrestlers, but it's not the same without having the commentary team helping tell the story. It's not the same if you don't have a manager or a valet who can help put in the dirty things and make you mad and get emotional. So again, I love the fact that wrestling is a team sport.
Yeah.
Some of the things I really try to do is give spotlights to referees and valets and managers and because I want people to understand their journey and why they are just as important as the wrestlers.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, if you, and especially like if you got a garbage ref, it can make your match look 10 times worse, no matter how good you are in the ring. So
Right.
making sure your refs know what they're doing, you making sure that your announcers and commentators know what they're doing, managers and valets and whatnot. You everybody needs to know what they're doing. because with if you have all of those elements combined in, and everybody is working towards the same goal, is we need to get from point A to point B. How do we get there? And if everybody's working together and you make it that point, it's going to go from either, if you don't know, you're going to be here. If you do know and you work together, it's up here. It just makes everybody look better.
I couldn't say it any better.
Sometimes I have a hard time explaining things, so I get a little weird handsy. So
No, you're on point. So here's a good question for you. What's the best place that you have wrestled at?
oh man, that's kind of a loaded question, really, because it's all about perspective. Like you know, I started at MACW and they were in Jonesboro, Arkansas. That's where that's so MACW and then the ASWF in Tuckerman. Those were home. So anytime at the Valiant Arena in Tuckerman, Arkansas, which ASWF and MACW ended up merging together there. Anytime I'm there, that's home, so it feels different. Out of Control Wrestling in Hoxie, Arkansas. I spent over the last few years. I spent a lot of time in that building, and they have treated me like family. Uh, so that one. Um, One of the best crowds to work in front of is definitely Memphis. Memphis wrestling. Uh, Man, that crowd is just. I mean, dude, as soon as you walk out, man, they're just going nuts. Whether they know if you're the good guy or the bad guy, and immediately, and they're going to let you know exactly what they think. I mean, that crowd is so raucous. It's just unreal. Um, on a more of a regular indie level, Haybarn down in Prescott, Arkansas, they have an amazing crowd. They're usually packed to the gills. They're 100% into it. But probably the best the best time I ever had in front of a crowd was in Little Rock for Brothers of Four Pillars Wrestling. We did it was annual show they were doing called the Battle of the Catalina Wine Mixer. I got to it was a packed out building. I got to wrestle Gangrel
Oh wow.
in front of them, and I was the bad guy, of course, and I went over at the end of it, and good Lord, I thought they were going to come after me with pitchforks and torches. That right there, it was just an unreal feeling, for me. Man, dude, there's so many of them. Vino's, for TAC wrestling. It's more of a, PWG, ECW vibe.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
it's a low boy ring. The crowd is standing around the ring. Man, there's no crowd more volatile than that one. Uh, Man, I could keep going. I could keep going because I thoroughly I'll tell you right now, if I'm out there and there is one person that is booing or cheering for me, man, I'm enjoying what I'm doing because that means I'm making an impact on somebody. So to narrow out one individual show, it just I can't do it. I can't do it.
And understandable. It's definitely understandable.
Sorry if I'm rambling.
No, it's good. And see, that's the thing for me. Um, when a question is asked, some people feel like they have to have a short answer. It has to be such. No, I want what you truly feel and how you feel. If we go 15 minutes on one question, it is what it is.
And that's why I do it too. I love that myself. When I'm doing my stuff, I love it when people elaborate on things. So it gives it more oomph into it.
Yes, yes. Funny you mentioned Memphis. With the history of wrestling coming from Memphis, it's one of I always like to think of Memphis as the home of real wrestling. And what I mean by that is they've went so many tails. They've had so many great stars come out of Memphis. They've had crazy angles, but you knew when you people watch Memphis wrestling, you were a believer in it. It wasn't no you believed it. You trying to kill somebody. If Lawler threw a fireball, you were happy and laughing about it.
But and I know that now. Going back and watching stuff where I grew up at, we didn't have access to it.
Oh, okay.
So I honestly I didn't. I knew who. What's up, P? I knew who a lot of these wrestlers were, but I didn't know the whole depth of
Right.
wrestling. And it was honestly not until like in the last few years that I really dug into it more. So I didn't, but I didn't grow up with it like a lot, like my tag partner, Bruce. He grew up watching it. So like us actually being able to be on Memphis wrestling, we're on YouTube, we're on, Memphis locals and all that, to be able to be a part of that production is a bucket list for him. It's a bucket list for me too, because I know the history is there. I just didn't know it until more recently. But yeah,
Right.
being able to be on there has just been just an unbelievable rush, to get on there and all I gotta do is just stretch my arms out and do this my weird laugh, and I'm just like, "Yay!" I'm
Um,
I know I'm weird, so
so you were talking about dangerous crowds. What has been the most dangerous situation that you've been in with the crowd?
uh, I really personally, I have not been put in any of those situations.
That's
I
good.
think majority of the crowds that I've been in front of during the show, yeah, they're 100% into it. But I think a lot of them these days understand that the person that's in the ring, the person that is walking curtain to curtain is not the same person that's walking behind the building just trying to get to his damn car. You know?
Right.
I mean, they're still the ones that will get that far into it. I mean, the guy that trained me told me about guys standing in his car waiting with a lead pipe waiting on him, or stuff like that. I'm lucky I have not ever been put in that situation though. Thank goodness. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a big old scaredy cat. I run like a little baby.
Well, and it's funny you say that too, because generally any big guy, they coming after us crazy, and we're like, what the hell? I'm not like that.
I'm a teddy bear. Don't touch me.
Like, no, buddy. Um, have you thought about um being more of a trainer?
Oh, I've done a lot of training. Uh, I would consider myself more of a mentor. I have helped train quite a few people. I've personally trained a few people. Um, but yeah, I 100%. That's one of the things I enjoy more than anything. Because it not only is helping this person learn the craft, but it helps me. It helps me keep in shape. It helps me you know keep my basics going right, because with me, I'm a my character wise, I'm this big crazy guy. I'm maul and brawl, I'm a brawler. So I don't get to chain wrestle, I don't get to do the technical stuff. So getting to work on through training, that also helps me keep those basics up to par. Um, but no, early when I first started, within like a year or two, the guy that trained me had me in the ring helping him train other people. And so I feel like that's part of that is why like I sound egotistical when I say this, but I think that's why I grew to the level that I grew as fast as I did because I was I was treated like a vet before I was even close to being one. I still don't consider myself one. Um, so yeah, I absolutely love training. I've got one kid right now that travels with me to shows. We work out before shows. Before or when it warms back up, I have a ring at my house here, a training ring that I bring people out. We work out in it. So yeah, that is probably one of the things I enjoy doing the most.
That's awesome. So, do you feel like whenever your time ends with wrestling, do you feel like you have given more than you've gotten from the business?
Well, I feel like all of us will feel that way to an extent, you know, because it does. Man, that's a loaded question. I love it. I absolutely love it. Um, because you can look back at the memories that you made. You can look back at the family you've created. You look back and you realize you're a footnote in somebody's story of success. And but then you lay in bed and you feel the pain in your knees. You feel your ankle is swollen for no reason. Your back is hurting. Just by sitting for too long, and you think in the back of your mind, you wonder if it's even worth if it was worth it. Uh, so to say that you gave more than you took, I feel like that's the only way to be. Because if I didn't give more than what I received, then I never tried hard enough.
And see, that right there is what, for me, really makes a difference in the business of wrestling. Because as a kid, I always heard when you get in wrestling, you need to leave the business better than you found it.
That's the goal.
And most people, I feel like they're like they don't understand wrestling. It's not, and I hate to be sound like that old man yelling at kids running across my grass, but I think a lot of new uh, wrestlers, men and women, they don't really put the time in to learn the past and be able to get some of the great knowledge that is there. It's, oh, well, I'm going to go here, do 17 backflips and 2,000 super kicks. Then you catch me, and we're going to do this move that nobody else has done. It might break your neck, but it should give us that pop we were looking for. And again, not throwing shade at anyone. I just feel like sometimes you need to put in a lot more effort to know your history so you can continue on and make your own history and be a legend for the newer stars coming in. Because I hear it all the time about older wrestlers. Oh, they don't do this. We did this back in the day. Well, that's true, but it's a different time. But even being a different time, be respectable and do some research about who came before you.
Well,
So
and
you,
I don't feel like that's actually a large issue, depending on where you're at. I feel like when it comes to the spot fest matches that you're saying, there's a place for them depending on where
right,
you're at. Like if you go up north, that's all you're going to find because that's what like
their
Memphis,
style.
Memphis style may not work there.
Right.
What where up there might not work down here. So I love that wrestling is such a variety. There's no wrong or right way to do it. It's all about what connects with the crowd, as we've said 1,000 times already in this episode. All about unity and connection. But that's the thing, but you don't want the same match throughout the entire card, and that's where I feel like that's where your comments come from on that, because there are a lot of shows that they do that spot match throughout the entire show. If you mix it up, like you can have a good spot match, but then you bring in a guy like me. I'm slow. I'm methodical. I'm gonna punch you a bunch of times, and then do this to the crowd, and have them eating out of the palm of my hand either way. You know, and then you got your comedy, and then you got your tag team. If you mix it up, that's where the shows go, because you're bringing in something different. They're not tired of seeing the same stuff by the end of the show, so they're not that exhausted from seeing the same stuff.
Right.
I feel like I just went in a big weird circle.
But and I definitely understand where you're coming from. Uh, I've said this a lot of times too, that wrestling is not a general sport. So many different ways that you can do wrestling, and again, like you mentioned, depending on where you at,
Yeah.
different styles work. Different psychology is different. So
That's where if you look at a Game Changer Wrestling, and then look at Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Look at it's pretty much the same stuff, but at completely different
right.
styles,
Yeah. I want to thank you so very much for coming on my show. You have been very fun, a very fun guest. One thing that I try to do all the time is give people their flowers. I feel like a lot of time people do not receive their flowers when they can really enjoy them. It's after they're gone or whatever. I like to, like I said, give flowers and acknowledge what you've done for the sport, what you're doing for the sport, and what you are going to do for the sport in the future. Again, there's a lot of people out there that have issues and they don't know what to do, and they get to at least forget about it for 2 to 3 hours because of what you help bring to the sport. And not only for your fans, not even for the people that dislike you, myself and my fans want to tell you thank you so very much. You are very appreciative, and we love what you're doing, and continue success at everything you do.
I appreciate that, man. Seriously. You don't realize that guys like me, that means more than you could ever know on that. I appreciate that.
And that's the thing. I know that a lot of y'all don't hear it, don't get a chance to hear that. And even if you do, it's like, well, you don't have to do it. This is just your nature. But you need to hear it. You need to know what you mean to people. And we're appreciative of everything, because if you wasn't as good of a bad guy that you are, man, how could I hate you?
I'm a better good guy. Just because I'm a big scary bearded guy, they all want me as a bad guy. So
so yeah, that I had a lot of fun with this interview, and just personally, I can't tell you how much you've cheered me up from my rough day today. So thank you again. This has been great.
not a problem, man. Not a problem. And I will definitely be sharing this on the AWO page, which is streaming to my personal page. SDU Networks, Arkansas Wrestling Unleashed, my Draven Morrow page, Modern Day Monsters. We're all over the place, dadgummit.
That's the way you got to be. As I heard somebody said today to me, if I don't believe myself, who in the hell gonna believe in me?
My tag partner said he's watching right now, and he said it perfect. He goes by Warwolf, and he'll look at you dead in the eye. He goes, "You may not believe in werewolves, but I'll make you believe in me."
All right. I love it. Oh, again, thank you so very much.
Problem, buddy.
Guys, girls, this has been another amazing conversation around the campfire. Again, we all are quick to assume things and think we all know it all, or at least me, who knows. But that's why I love doing these interviews, so you can see how much people are putting their bodies on the line, their mental health on the line. It's more than, oh, well, I just buy this. You just never know what people go through and different ways to get to where they belong. So, again, thank y'all so much for listening. And as I always love to leave off my show with, please, please, please support your local indie wrestling company. Again, I always say this. I'm a big AEW fan. I'm a big WWE fan, but they don't have the same energy that indie promotion has. For me, myself, it's like going to a family reunion. I get to see so much action, and when guys and girls pick somebody out the crowd just to needle them and they get it back, is just an amazing feel. And one of those great things too, you go into the show with money in your pocket, you actually leave with money in your pocket. I know it's a crazy concept around this time in the world, but it can happen. So please continue to support your local indie wrestling.
We need it.
With that being said, I am Professor Burr. This has been a Burr's Thought, and we will catch you around the campfire for another amazing story. Y'all have a great evening.